is on.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome back to Shoreline Design. So this is our fourth show. My producer Wayne and I were talking, and it sounds good to say producer, doesn't it? But I thought it was number 5. So my notes today say 5, but it's actually 4. Okay, so as we did last week, we had our contest draw, and Dorothy Jameson won. So I want to show you the finished product right now. How is that, Wayne?
Let me just get into that. There you go.
Okay, so what we have is a petersite. Now this petersite was discovered in Namibia. So this is a blue petersite. It is probably one of the most expensive stones that I carry per gram. Anyway, it's quite nice, and this is going out to Dorothy here. This will go out, being a long weekend, it'll go out in Tuesday now. So the other thing I wanted to show you was a couple interesting projects that we have that we're working on. One is an order. Now, this here was a bead that was brought in. Okay, and they wanted a man's ring made.
A little closer to the wall.
A little closer to the wall. So I cut this in half. Now, there's a little bit of a story to this order, and here's the other side. Now, I play a little closer to the wall. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so the story on this one is kind of interesting. This rock was given to the father who brought it in, and his daughter had given it to him when they were up north. So he wanted something permanent and in a ring. So we tell a lot of people when they come into Shoreline Design, we can do just about anything you can imagine. So you find a pebble, you're on your honeymoon, someone gives you a rock. You know, it's usually not good for a 20th anniversary or something to give you a rock unless it's a diamond. But if you've got something of sentimental value, in most cases we can turn around and cut and polish that for you. Now, the other thing I want to show you from the bench, because we're always trying to come up with new things. So this one is a combination of older things that I've been working on. So we're going to try to get this up here for Wayne, which is the hummingbirds, the roses, and the stones. You got that, Wayne?
A little closer to the wall.
A little closer to the wall. Okay. So these are some of our existing pieces. And what I was doing yesterday, actually, the 3 roses on top were designed by my daughter, Jocelyn, and we cast them. The hummingbirds were done by Rondalyn, one of my, well, she doesn't work for us anymore. She has her own stuff. And the sort of pure silver holding the red ruby CZs, we put together. I made those and put it together. So I haven't decided what to do with this yet. As you may have noticed, that it has either can be worn as a pendant or we can make it as a necklace with an attached chain on either side. So we're always trying to come up with something, you know, different or in combination of what's going on. So the other thing that we had talked about, of course, when we started to get into this live cast, I guess, is one of the topics was, well, what's happening in Georgetown? What's happening on the island? So for this show, we're going to talk about what's going on in Georgetown a bit. And now most of this has been cleared to gossip. So it's what we hear. There are no secrets on PEI. So we're hearing some big announcements, or we're hearing rumors of some big announcements going out on the corner. Now, the province owns about 100 acres just on the edge of town. We have a metal fabricator out there, and so we're hearing that there's going to be some big announcements. We've got a 5G tower gone in out there, so maybe they're going to be true. Now, the other thing is that we're seeing, which is I think is going to be kind of fun. We like new people moving here, but we're having some workers move in from Philippines to work in the seafood plant this year. So there's a bunch of renovations undergoing some of the houses. Across the street, there'll be 4 couples living. And I'm hearing that there's a good possibility these Filipino couples will be moving here full-time with their kids to follow. So again, great news for Georgetown if it's true, but so I'm just sort of tossing that out there. Okay, so the other two topics that I wanted to sort of touch on is, why do Islanders come here to Georgetown? A lot of times, people will go to different parts of the island. There's always something to draw them, and for Georgetown, there's a lot of things to do here. Most people don't realize, or a lot of people don't realize, that we have one of the oldest theaters in Canada here. It's 285 seats. So they're doing live shows up there. They also rent the facility for conferences. They have super high-speed internet, so it can be done by Zoom. So any of you out there that are looking to do some large gatherings business-wise, the theater here in Georgetown. So we have retail opportunities here if you're Islanders visiting or tourists. So it's either ourselves, there's restaurants, we have the Wheelhouse, we have, I call it Stacy's, but the Maroon Pig, we have Daryl's, we have the Inn, and of course Clam Diggers and Cardigan. It's all within the sort of same family. So Georgetown area is known for its restaurants. So you can spend a week here just kind of going around in a circle, if you will. We have a boat tour here in Georgetown. We have Tranquility Cove tours that takes you out bar clamming, fishing trips, and so on. But the bar clamming, I think, is the one that catches my eye most time, because there's not many spots in Canada where you can go and dig, if you will, a clam this big that may weigh 1.5 pounds and take it on shore and cook it and eat it. The other things that people do when they come to Georgetown, I've seen a number more people coming just to walk their dog, just to be able to walk along the boardwalks or on the shore. These are things that, as a community, it's been growing all the time, and I see that from my vantage point here on Shoreline Design, right on Main Road. Now, the other thing that's a secret that I don't like to talk about is you can also get sea glass here. So I have a lot of the kids who come to the shop here all summer. They'll be looking for sea glass. There's something about discovering a piece of history that you can take and rework, either with a piece of wire or a drill, and it's a constant reminder as you're wearing it of where you were and some of the history that is really quite spectacular here in Georgetown. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk about, other than the coffee, which we have great coffee here, and we're going to be roasting coffee in the summer. We're starting to see a lot of people move to Georgetown. Now, houses are starting to sell, I don't want to say extraordinarily well. All around, people are looking for places to move to because the major cities have some, they're kind of getting fed up. But anyway, when I moved home in 2004, at that time, the average selling price in Georgetown was, I think when I checked, $34,000. Now that's, almost 20 years ago now. Today, we're seeing houses sell in the $300,000-$400,000 range. We're seeing a lot of small places. A couple places have actually gone to bidding wars. So what Georgetown is offering for a lot of people when they're looking to move is still reasonably priced properties, $200,000, $300,000, $150,000. And there was some great deals, but my producer picked up on that, last September. So but he'll talk to you in another few years.
That's another story.
That's going to be a whole story by itself. So why people are moving here to Georgetown? We have Joe, who moving up the end of the street. He's from Ontario, Russell, Ontario. He's retiring from the Canadian Mint. He's building a new house here. We've had Brian from Collingwood, who built a house up in what we call Parker's Point. Across the street, one of the first Ontarians was Stacy and Richard from Kitchener-Waterloo. We have another new family just built or bought a big 3-story. We have Rhonda at the inn is from Stettler, Alberta. So, you know, there is a real influx of people. So some of the things that are drawing them here to Georgetown, of course, is, well, the theater that we talked about. There's an elementary school where kids actually get a chance to walk to school. Great boat harbor. If you're a sailor, you can push off to shore here and all of a sudden you're sailing. I mean, one of the best top 15 or top 7, I can't remember now, harbors in North America, natural harbors. We have a great big Coast Guard boat in here right now. So the weather is great on this end of the island. It's pretty much the same from one end to the other, but I like to think that Georgetown, facing south, has some of the best weather around. And I think the strongest point for people who are looking to move, if you're looking to move to have a sense of community, one of the things that Georgetown offers is its layout. It's one of, if not the last town on PEI. Every other subdivision that's been made since the Second World War, its main focus has been for cars. When you walk around Georgetown, you're going to find a center square with the theater and the courthouse and churches, all revolve around one of the largest, municipal flower gardens or parks on PEI. You have the streets all running north, south, east, and west. All of the lots are what you would call oversized. I think they're 100 by 200 feet inshore or in the center, and 85 feet on the shoreline wide and back to the road. So the layout is something that allows people to walk to work. It allows people to have their kids walk to school. And currently, I think one of the big points that people miss with the big metal fabrication plant here right now, and the seafood plant, Georgetown has more jobs than men, women, and children within this community. So we have a college, we have government offices, but the community itself is designed for people. So why are people coming here? Why are more and more people from away looking to buy homes and to raise their families here? I think it's always had the attraction for people, but there's just more people looking, and we're seeing a high influx of people looking for properties. So come on down to Georgetown. It's really quite awesome. Now, this is a pretty short show, mostly because we're looking for direction from you, our viewer. So we'd like to see more questions about things that you would like to know about either our community or my work. So if you have thoughts or questions, just send an email to us. Check us out. You know, we do a lot of things in our studio in Halifax also. So check us out. Send us an email either to Halifax or here. Ask questions that you have for us, or give us suggestions on what you would like to see. So the other thing that, Wayne, do we have a stone of the day?
Yeah, let's have a stone of the day.
Let's do the stone of the day. Okay, so as anybody who's been here have noticed that sometimes things get a little bit messy. So I was digging through and I found these here. Now, these are called fire agate. Now, I bought these online, has to be about 7 or 8 years ago. Now, I haven't done anything with them, but they're really quite spectacular ones. And so what I'm going to commit to do for next week is I am going to slice some of these and I'm going to polish them into a gem. And depending on how good they are, if they're really, really good, I won't. No, I will. But I will take one of these and we'll have a little contest looking forward in the future. So stick with us. There's lots of stuff coming with Shoreline Design, and I hope you enjoyed our 15 minutes here in Georgetown.